Hey, welcome back to Braxton's War Room. I know it's been a little while, quite a while actually, since I've done a video. Decided to take a look at my current playthrough of the Great Battles of Alexander, the Macedonian Art of War, GBoH Volume 1. This is one of my favorite systems, and decided to maybe put this one on film. Today I'm playing the Battle of Gabiene from the Diadochoi module. This is the second battle in the module between two of Alexander's successors. We have Eumenes, who was Alexander's personal secretary or scribe, and then also Antigonus, who was one of Alexander's generals. This is the follow-up battle to a year later, the Battle of Paratechene, which is between both generals, and it was an inconclusive event. Eumenes was able to really smash Antigonus's army, but Antigonus held the field, and both armies were exhausted by the end of the day, and both went home, and nobody really won the field. So the next year, Antigonus was able to regroup and moved over into present-day Iran, which the Battle of Gabiene takes place. So what happened historically, Eumenes ordered his elephants and his skirmishers to advance forward to the center of Antigonus's line. Of course, during this time, it was a big problem. Massive dust cloud was created by the hoofs of the giant, elephants, and obscured much of the battlefield's line of sight. Seeing this happen, Antigonus saw a opportunity and ordered his left flank light cavalry commander Pythion to move his group of cavalry around the rear of Eumenes and actually attack Eumenes' baggage train, which is certainly that was his lifeline and able to supply his army. So unbeknownst to Eumenes, he didn't know that this had happened. The usual clash took place between the elephants and the skirmishers. Elephants did their rampaging, caused their ruckus like they normally do. And with this, Eumenes ordered his heavy cavalry, his companions, and all his elite cav to move forward and attack Antigonus's line head on. And for some reason, one of Eumenes' cavalry commanders, Hephaestus, panicked. I think it had to do with a lot of the dust cloud, and withdrew with 1,500 of his cavalry. So that stunted most of Eumenes' attack on the left flank, and Eumenes decided to send in his old reliable, the Silver Shields, which is this whole group line here, and make a full frontal assault on Antigonus's infantry line. And the Silver Shields, being the elite fighting force at this time, it's really interesting. I was reading that a lot of these men were, some of them were even in their 60s, but this was the old group mercenaries that had fought for Alexander and had proven themselves time and time again. They actually smashed through Antigonus's line, basically destroyed any sort of effectiveness of Antigonus's army, and they fled the field. And fighting was over for the day. Each army went to their camp, and Eumenes thought he had won the day. This is one of the interesting little twists of fate in in any military warfare, but especially in ancient warfare where you learn a lot of the intrigue. Word got back to Eumenes' camp that the baggage train had been captured, and Eumenes' mercenaries, especially the Silver Shields, got together and told Eumenes, look, we're screwed. We think this is all a failure now. And they actually seized Eumenes and took him to Antigonus's camp, where they presented him to Antigonus, and Antigonus actually had him executed immediately. And that was the end of Eumenes and his army, and which is an interesting end to this, since Eumenes did win the battle, but because of the failure of their supply lines, the Silver Shields, being the veterans they were, knew they didn't have a chance. So that's about the little background of the battle. You can see here that Eumenes has a whole line of elephants, which he probably will use to swing forward. Antigonus definitely has, I think, a little bit better heavy cavalry, maybe a little bit better the double some of his phalanx in the front, maybe a little bit better, but it's fairly evenly matched. We'll see what happens if Eumenes does take the battle, just like he did historically. It'll be fun to see. I'm going to check in at the end of each turn to kind of give a quick update on the moves and the clashes, and we'll see what happens. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon.